October 31st, 1972. Halloween night, the coast of North Vietnam. A five-man team is surrounded, outnumbered, and being overrun. Their lieutenant has just taken a bullet through his skull. The radio man runs back through enemy fire with a message. Da Wei is dead. Every rule of survival says one thing: get to the water, get out, save yourself. Petty Officer Michael Thornton heard all of that, grabbed his rifle, and ran back toward the enemy anyway. The mission was straightforward on paper. A five-man team would insert by sea near the Qua Viet Naval Base in Quang Tri Province, just south of the demilitarized zone, to gather intelligence and capture prisoners. 5 men total. Lieutenant Tom Norris led as senior advisor. He was already a legend. Just 6 months earlier, Norris had crawled through enemy territory disguised as a fisherman to rescue 2 downed American pilots. One of the most daring rescue missions of the entire war. He had already been recommended for the Medal of Honor for those actions. Petty Officer Michael Thornton was his assistant advisor. And alongside them, 3 experienced South Vietnamese LDNN frogmen, members of the South Vietnamese Special Forces. Men Thornton had worked with before and trusted completely. At dusk, they launched from a Vietnamese junk in a rubber boat, paddled to within a mile of shore, then swam the rest of the way in darkness. Moving inland, they slipped past multiple North Vietnamese encampments and began their reconnaissance. Then they realized the truth. The junk captain had gotten them lost. They hadn't landed where they were supposed to. They had landed inside North Vietnam itself, and they were surrounded. Contact came fast and violent. 5 men against an estimated 150 North Vietnamese army soldiers for 4 hours. 4 hours, this tiny band held them off. Thornton kept moving constantly, giving the enemy the impression there were far more Americans on the ground than there actually were. Keep them cautious, buy time, stay alive. He called in naval gunfire support from 2 American destroyers offshore. Both were driven back by North Vietnamese shore batteries before they could fire a single round. They were completely on their own. Thornton took grenade shrapnel in his back. He kept fighting. Near dawn, Lieutenant Norris ordered the team to fall back toward the beach, their only way out. They leapfrogged backward, 1 man covering while the others moved. Norris stayed at the rear, covering their withdrawal alone. He contacted the heavy cruiser USS Newport News and called in a fire for effect mission to cover their movement. Then he raised a law rocket to suppress a group of 70 to 75 enemy soldiers charging his position. A bullet entered the left side of his skull and tore through his head. He went down. The radio man, dang, fought his way back to Thornton's position, 2 bullet holes through the back of his radio, shrapnel in his own back. He looked at Thornton and said the words no soldier ever wants to hear. Mike, Da Wei is dead. Thornton paused. Are you sure? Yes. Thornton remembered the last position he had seen Norris. He grabbed his rifle and he ran. 500 yards of open terrain, under fire, alone. Thornton reached the position where Norris had fallen. What he saw stopped him cold. The whole side of Tommy's head was completely gone. Enemy troops were already overrunning the position. Thornton dropped to a knee and shot several of them. Then he grabbed Norris and threw him over his shoulders and started to run. What Thornton didn't know was that before he was shot, Norris had called the Newport News and told them to fire for effect. The first round came in. The concussion blast picked both men up and hurled them 20 feet into the air. Thornton watched Norris fly off his shoulders and hit the ground. He got up, dazed, ears ringing. The blast had bought them a moment. The enemy soldiers stopped to take cover. Thornton went back to Norris and bent down to pick him up. And Norris said 2 words, "Mike, buddy." He was alive. Thornton picked him back up and ran for the ocean. When they finally reached the water, it wasn't over. One of the South Vietnamese LDNN frogmen was at the water's edge, shot through the buttocks, unable to swim. Thornton didn't leave him either. Michael Thornton, 23 years old, grenade shrapnel in his back, dazed from a naval artillery concussion blast, entered the South China Sea with Lieutenant Tom Norris strapped to his back and the wounded Vietnamese frogman holding onto his chest. Two men, simultaneously, in the open ocean at night, and he swam, stroke after stroke after stroke, for over 2 hours. Meanwhile, offshore, the support junk had received a report from the one Vietnamese frogman who had escaped earlier. "Everyone is dead." The junk began to leave. Then someone on deck saw something in the dark water, a soldier firing his rifle into the air. It was Michael Thornton. They pulled all 3 men out of the water. Thornton personally carried Tom Norris to the operating room aboard the USS Newport News. The surgeon looked at Norris and told Thornton directly, "There is no way he is going to make it." Thornton didn't accept that. Tom Norris didn't accept that either. Tom Norris survived. 19 hours of emergency surgery aboard the Newport News. Years of follow-on procedures at Bethesda Naval Hospital. Portions of his skull rebuilt. His life reconstructed piece by piece. The doctors weren't sure he'd ever fully recover. He proved them wrong. On October 15th, 1973, less than a year after that Halloween night, President Richard Nixon was prepared to present Michael Thornton with the Medal of Honor at the White House. There was one problem. Tom Norris was still a patient at Bethesda Naval Hospital, still undergoing treatment. His doctors had forbidden him from attending the ceremony. He was in no condition to leave. Michael Thornton, the same man who had run back into 500 yards of enemy fire, wasn't about to let a doctor's order stop him. He went to the hospital and snuck Tom Norris out the back door. Standing beside Michael Thornton as he received the nation's highest military honor was the man he had carried out of North Vietnam. The man 2 doctors had said wouldn't survive, standing on his own 2 feet, against medical orders, to watch his swim buddy receive the Medal of Honor. It was the first time in modern history that a Medal of Honor recipient had received the award for saving the life of another Medal of Honor recipient. 2 men, 1 beach, 1 impossible night, and a friendship that no bullet, no ocean, and no doctor's order could break. Michael Thornton went on to serve for 20 more years. He became a founding member of SEAL Team 6. He trained future SEALs and British Royal Marines. He retired as a lieutenant in 1992, the last Medal of Honor recipient on active duty at that time. Tom Norris recovered against every medical prediction. He retired from the Navy and went on to serve 20 years as an FBI special agent. Both men are still alive today. 50 years later, they still call each other brothers. On a beach in North Vietnam, on Halloween night 1972, one man heard that his lieutenant was dead and said, "Are you sure?" Then ran back to find out for himself. This has been Debrief Unknown. Some stories don't need to be classified to be forgotten. We just have to make sure they aren't.